This was Iran in the 1970s, fast-moving, independent, similar to a Western country. Women walked through Tehran without hijabs. American music played in cafes. Hollywood movies filled cinemas. Nightclubs, luxury hotels, and modern highways spread across the country. The Shah of Iran wanted Iran to become a global superpower. But just a few years later, the same country would erupt into one of the biggest revolutions in modern history. The monarchy collapsed. Religious clerics took power. Millions marched in the streets shouting death to the Shah. So how did Iran go from Westernization to Islamic revolution? To understand that, we have to go back to oil, foreign powers, and a young king placed on the throne during World War II. In the early 20th century, Iran possessed one of the world's most valuable resources, oil. But most of Iran's oil industry wasn't controlled by Iranians. It was dominated by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, a British company that made enormous profits while many ordinary Iranians remained poor. To many Iranians, it felt like foreigners were getting rich from their country while they got almost nothing in return. And this anger slowly began to grow. Iran at the time was ruled by Reza Shah, the father of Mohammad Reza Shah. Reza Shah wanted to modernize Iran and reduce British and Soviet influence. But during World War II, Britain and the Soviet Union became suspicious of him because he appeared too friendly toward Germany. That terrified both powers. In 1941, Iran was invaded by British and Soviet forces, and Reza Shah was forced out of power. His 21-year-old son, Mohammad Reza Shah, was placed on the throne. But real power wasn't fully his. Britain, the Soviet Union, and later the USA were heavily influencing Iran from behind the scenes. With the emergence of the Cold War, the Soviet Union tried supporting communist movements in northern Iran. This changed everything, because now Iran wasn't just a country you extract oil from. It became important for stopping communism. The Shah was strongly anti-communist and leaned toward the West. That made the United States and Britain see him as a valuable ally, especially because Iran bordered the Soviet Union itself. To Washington and London, losing Iran to communism was unacceptable. Then in 1951, a man named Mohammad Mossadegh became Iran's democratically elected prime minister. Almost immediately, he made a decision that sent shockwaves through Britain. He nationalized Iran's oil industry, which means Iranian oil would finally belong to Iran. To ordinary Iranians, Mossadegh became a national hero. But to Britain, this was a disaster. The British economy heavily depended on Iranian oil profits. Britain responded with sanctions and economic pressure. Meanwhile, the United States feared something else. If Iran became unstable, communists might take advantage of the chaos. And in the middle of the Cold War, that fear was enough. In 1953, Britain's MI6 and America's CIA launched a secret operation called Operation Ajax. Its goal was simple: remove Mossadegh. The operation used propaganda, political manipulation, street protests, and military influence to destabilize his government. Eventually, Mossadegh was overthrown, and the Shah returned stronger than ever. For many Iranians, this moment changed everything, because now democracy itself appeared crushed by foreign powers. And many people never forgot it. Mohammad Reza Shah became unstoppable at that point. He wanted to transform Iran into a modern, industrial, Western-style nation. So to achieve that, he launched massive modernization programs known as the White Revolution, which included land reforms, industrial projects, expanded education, women gaining more rights, and the rapid spread of Western culture. On the surface, Iran looked modern and successful. Tehran began to resemble a European city. And it was quite evident in the national GDP rankings in 1975, where Iran was ranked 16th overall, above countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey. But beneath that modern image, anger was building, because many Iranians felt modernization was happening too fast. And without freedom, the Shah slowly concentrated power entirely around himself. Political opposition weakened. Critics disappeared. Elections became meaningless. Then, during the 2500th anniversary celebration of the Persian Empire, the Shah gave himself the grand title Shahanshah, which literally means King of Kings in Persian. The celebrations were extravagant beyond imagination. Luxury tents were built in the desert. Foreign leaders were invited. Millions were spent. All of this was happening while many Iranians were still struggling economically. Most of the oil wealth was concentrated in the hands of a very small elite. Iran was growing economically on paper, but at the same time inequality was rising sharply. To critics, the Shah no longer looked like a reformer. He looked disconnected from his own people. To control the growing dissent in the country, the Shah created a powerful secret police organization called Savak. Savak monitored dissidents, arrested critics, and censored opposition, and it became feared throughout Iran. People whispered about torture chambers. There was constant surveillance on suspects. Fear spread quickly across society. Among the Shah's loudest critics was a religious cleric named Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Khomeini strongly opposed the Shah's westernization policies and his close relationship with the United States. In 1964, after publicly condemning the Shah, Khomeini was arrested and eventually sent into exile. The Shah probably believed exile would silence him. Instead, it turned Khomeini into a symbol. By the late 1970s, people were slowly losing patience with the Shah's rule. Protests against him were growing rapidly. Then came one of the most tragic events in modern Iranian history. On August 19, 1978, a cinema in the city of Abadan was set on fire. Around 400 people died, trapped inside. The entire country was horrified by the incident. Many Iranians and Khomeini himself blamed Savak and the Shah's regime, believing the government was responsible. Whether true or not, the damage was already done. Public anger exploded. Strikes spread across the country. Demonstrations grew larger. Workers shut down industries. Students filled the streets. Iran was beginning to collapse from within. Meanwhile, Khomeini, now living in exile in France, was gaining enormous influence. His speeches were secretly recorded and spread across Iran on cassette tapes. Millions began seeing him not just as a religious leader, but as the man who could bring down the Shah. The Shah eventually realized the crisis was spiraling out of control. He tried reforms, promised democracy, and attempted to negotiate with opposition groups. But by then, it was too late. Khomeini rejected any compromise. He called for the monarchy itself to fall. In January 1979, Mohammad Reza Shah left Iran, officially for medical treatment. But everyone in the country knew why he was leaving, and he would never set foot on Iranian soil again. As he boarded the plane, many Iranians celebrated in the streets. For them, it felt like the end of decades of monarchy, foreign influence, and repression. Then came the moment that changed Iran forever. Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Iran. Millions welcomed him. The monarchy collapsed. And soon, Iran was transformed into an Islamic republic governed by religious clerics under Islamic law. The westernized monarchy was gone. A new era in Iran had begun. And that new era is officially called the Iranian Revolution.